Okay, hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Pavel Horák, that's probably no surprise, at least I hope so. And today we will be talking about my indicators. This is the second webinar from my micro marathon focused on ATAS X and my indicators. We saw each other approximately a week ago, or I think more than a week ago, because I didn't feel well a few days ago. It was probably on Tuesday, so that's why I had to postpone this webinar, because my nose was running, and just as I sat at my Discord, I was really, I sound like a wild animal, so I wasn't going to scare you out. That's why I decided to postpone this webinar, and we will see each other today. So, I'm going to talk about Linescope, then NODEtective, and then Free 5. So this is today's schedule. And there's no need to. I'm recording this webinar as usually. So those of you who join the webinar later can see it from the beginning at my YouTube channel, and you can return apparently later to the webinar. And I'm going to add the timestamps so that you can jump. You don't need to stay focused on a continuous webinar, apparently. You can jump to selected topics and to selected indicators. So let's begin. I decided to focus with this micro marathon on ATAS X. Because as mentioned last time, this is the platform that will be more and more important in ATAS. Some indicators are already splitted to new platform, and I think it's time to switch. There's no need to hesitate, because the platform is very stable. I actually started the platform 5 minutes ago, maybe 10 minutes ago, and I was offered to update the platform. It is obviously recommended not to do things like that. Hello, LP. It's not recommended to update anything 5 minutes prior to the beginning of the webinar. I didn't have any. I wasn't scared at all, because I trust the platform. I've performed dozens and dozens of updates already, because I started with ATAS. I don't know, what was that? It could have been, I don't know, maybe 2021, 2022. Then I started cooperating with ATAS. It was 2023. I've been with the company for 3 years, actually, already. And I don't know, there hasn't been a single issue with an update. So I don't mind if there's a newer version, so I simply update. I really don't mind. So I updated. This is I don't know what the version is actually. When I click at menu, then I see it here. It's the version, no, it's the expiration. It's the version 8.0.14.646 beta. All ATAS X versions are beta at this moment. It's not possible to install and use the stable version or the latest version. ATAS X is always beta. But as mentioned before, no worries. There's no need to worry. I just check my connections. There's the connection we created last time. Why is again Binance connected? It's keep on connecting on and on. I don't know why, because it's not auto connect here. Nevertheless, I disconnected. All we have is Rhythmic, That's what we need. And ATAS simulation. ATAS simulation means this is the demo account. This is not a simulation of data or anything else. It's really just the possibility to open the positions at the demo account, not at the live account. So let's begin with the indicators. I hold this webinar in German last week, exactly a week ago, and I started with basically my motto, the reasons why basically I came up with the indicators and the basic information surround it. So let me follow the same steps. I started with my own indicators somewhere in 2023 maybe. It was prior to the beginning of the cooperation with ATAS. So yes, it was spring 2023. I wasn't developer at that time. I really wasn't able to write a single line of the code at that time. I attended, I don't know how they say it in English, a course for develop for coding course. It was autumn 2024. I started in November 2024. It took approximately, I don't know, 5 months. I started learning C#, because that's the language which ATAS uses for the development of the indicators. And I started heavily developing indicators between 2024 and 2025, because I was delivering content to ATAS, so I had to reopen some topics, go back to some education again, learn some stuff, and I came up with a few ideas. I saw patterns at the charts, and ATAS is very capable. It's been very capable, and it's been improved all the time. Nevertheless, I saw the opportunity to... I saw the... How to say that? I don't know. I was simply going to create something own, because I've got my own personal idea about the chart, about the trading, and I was going to transform my ideas into visual indicators. Yeah, that's good. So I think I started with PowerBars, which is now one of the 5 indicators among the free 5, which are free. You get the free version lifetime. And then I brought, I think Semaphoric. Semaphoric was among the first 3 or 4 indicators. Must have been. Because we will be talking about Semaphoric during the next webinar, of course, but this is the progress and the way I went. That's the path I was following. And then I delivered Linescope, which is the free version, which is the Linescope Lite. The Linescope Lite version is the version of Linescope which I developed back in 2024 and which I was using for approximately 1 year. I will be talking about it today. Then came NODEtective. Then came Rain and Pattern Action. So that was the development. And I have a few criteria which I follow during the development of an indicator. First things first, my indicators don't overlap. My indicators don't overlap, which means each indicator is focused on something in particular. there isn't any overlap between semaphoric, linescope, NODEtective, pattern, action, rain. Each indicator is doing something else. So it's on purpose, because I was actually going to build a mosaic. I like using this word. I was building a mosaic, and to build a mosaic, a picture mosaic, you need stones, colored stones. And I wasn't going to create multiple stones overlapping with similar colors. So when I was missing something in ATAS, then I came up with the idea and I finished the indicator. At that time already, I started thinking about the future. I was basically developing something what I had a slight idea about, to be very honest with you. And I was actually hoping, or actually monitoring the situation at the market. And when I was able to start with the automation of the indicators, that's when everything clicked together. And that is the reason why the indicators don't overlap. You can build a strategy based on 2 or 3 indicators. So this means with my 5 subscription indicators and 5 free indicators, you can build a dozen of trading strategies. I will be describing the indicators today, and I will show you the possibilities, how you can basically put them together, what means what, and so on and so on, and what is the purpose. I mean, not necessarily the functionality, but the idea behind, the goal, something above, something, well, goal, the goal. What was the goal? Not necessarily the functionality. I like creating simple indicators. Some developers, I'm not saying it's wrong, no at all. Some developers have very complex indicators with a lot of settings. You are able to set literally anything. I decided not to go that way. I personally don't use Apple mobile phones. I've got nothing from Apple at this moment, actually. But I actually appreciate, or I was appreciating their approach. They prepared something with the best intention to bring something that runs, that operates, that delivers the data without any requirements to study something, learn something, getting used to something for a long time, and so on and so on. So that was the goal number 1. It should be simple. Let's say if I spent 100% of the time at the indicator takes 100 time units. The core idea is, let's say, 5 time units. Time units, I like it. Really, because something clicks. Something clicks. I see something. For instance, I deliver video for ATAS about something, about a particular topic at the chart, about particular kind of the indicators, about the knowledge. And when I talk about that, I saw the potential. So this is really usually very, very fast. I'm unable to sit in front of the display and thinking for hours about what am I going to create? I don't know. I don't work this way. There's really always an idea behind. That's important. Then I spent some time with thinking how to do that. What is available in ATAS? How am I able to build it? And I built it. I built a prototype. And this takes altogether, let's say 30 time units. And then I spent 50 to 60 time units by simplifying things. I like having the indicators simple. And I like testing different paths. and then basically get rid of those that are not important, that make things complex, complicated, but not deliver the majority of the edge. Because edge is what we look for in trading. We need to have the edge over the others. The edge means that we have better conditions, or better, conditions actually. We work with something, we work with a system, and our system should be better. Then there's the psychology in the game, obviously, time, money management, position management, and so on and so on. But we need to have an edge. An example. Imagine you are a trader and you use only candles. You use only 4 kinds of information, four types of information: open, high, low, close, nothing else. And then you are a trader, you are a different trader, and you use footprints. You see inside the candles. I like saying, I was delivering a webinar for a German broker, WH Self-Invest, WH Self-Invest, it's in German, WH Self-Invest, and it was focused on volume profiles, and then the second webinar was on market profile. And I told them that market profile is as if you were at the street, you scanned the situation at the street, then you went at the other edge of the street and scanned the situation again. You get 2 different views, 2 perspectives at the market. Unlike the trader who is standing at the very beginning of the street and seeing this, it's still the same situation. He doesn't see the opportunities. He might be wasting the opportunities, or he analyzes the opportunities not the best way, so to say. And then there's the footprint trader. It's not the other edge of the street. It's a different perspective. It's another dimension. Market profile is a different perspective. Footprint is another dimension, literally, because you see inside the candle. And that is the edge. Nevertheless, how is the past tense of tended to? In the past, I tend to sit in front of the computer waiting for my setup, actually, and I was thinking about the indicators, about the settings, about my workspace, and so on and so on and so on, and I kept changing everything, you know. Trading is a statistic, of course. We have good days, we have bad days. That's normal. It's like flipping a coin. You start flipping a coin and you flip the coin 5 times each day. It's possible that you get 3 times one side of the coin and 2 times the other side of the coin at normally, let's say, in average. But there's also possible that there will be days when you get 5 times the same side of the coin. That's normal. That's statistic. 4 times the same side of the coin plus just once the other, you know, and all the possible combination. And this is trading because it's literally impossible to create the system that works each day the same. It's impossible because there are macro news. There's the influence of the other instruments. There are other situation, either announced situation or unexpected situation. We have a certain events in the history, such as COVID, such as wars. I don't know, a new president, so entirely different politics, monetary politics, and so on and so on. So this all influences the markets, and the strategy should be successful in a long run. Not at the end of the day, but at the end of the month. That is crucial. And it's important, apparently, to survive the days when we are not as successful as backtested. That is crucial. I was going almost to say as expected, but you shouldn't expect anything. You should be prepared for the changes at the market. Why am I saying that? Because I sat in front of the computer and in the past, I tend to change things. When I sit somewhere, I keep on analyzing, and looking for the improvements and so on and so on and so on. And my indicators, I created them to actually not being able to play with them and change them. That's on purpose. I would like to emphasize one thing. I use one-to-one versions of the indicators like you. There is not a single indicators from my suite that is different compared to what you use, what you have in your ATAS. I use exactly the same versions. And there is not a single indicator except one, which I use and which I did not give to the public. Offered to the public. Not give, but offered to the public. This is important because what I offer are things that I trust. I really trust my indicators. We say in Czech, I can put my hand into the fire for the indicators. I don't know if this saying exists in English, but you probably know what I mean. I trust them. I can explain each indicator in detail from the functionality point of view and from the benefits point of view. What was my goal? Why did I create the indicator at all? So that's important. And the second thing, I use exactly the same versions because everything I do alone. This is literally one-man show. No one else, except my dog, but I said one-man show. One man and one dog. So I'm honestly saying I don't have any capacity to have separate versions for myself and for you. Why would I do that? I saw when I came up with the idea, it was back in 2025. It was probably April, I think so, March, April. And it was after I had finished the webinars for ATAS, the marathons. ATAS came up with the idea that I should create a series of webinars, of live webinars in German, focused on various topics. And the name for the series was Marathon. And I read actually the feedbacks from the users, and I was really happy. It made me happy because I was helping the people. I was really, honestly giving the best of myself and describing the things the best way I could without the intention to sell them anything. That was brewed by ATAS, and it was without any intention to sell anything. It was really honest help to the users, to those who were willing to spend the time with myself and learn something. And my disadvantage, I'm not native German, apparently. I live in Prague, in Czechia. I'm not German. So German isn't my native language. And my disadvantage, because I was afraid at the beginning, when I sit in front of the camera, in front of the ATAS, and I don't know how to say something, or something goes wrong, or my microphone turns off, and so on, my camera turns on. Everything has happened, by the way. Microphone, camera, everything has happened. So, but the disadvantage that I'm not native became my advantage. I have to explain the most difficult things with the language I use. So, in a rather simple sentences, in a rather simple grammar, and with obviously a limited number of the words. Because I don't use any dictionary, of course, because I can't. There's no time for that. So I need to explain it easy. And I was receiving really highly motivated feedbacks and information from the users, and they were happy. They wrote me that they finally understand, I don't know, market profile or a cluster chart, and they were happy that I delivered them a functional template and so on and so on and so on. And then I actually started thinking about me, about myself, about my experience in trading. When I was at the beginning, it was in 2019, 2018. I trade since 2017, and since 2018 I started studying technical analysis. And I recalled that, and all the teachers and lectures and courses and materials and 30-hour long course, when I was bored to death during each lesson, which took approximately 90 minutes, but the contents, you could have compressed the content to 12 minutes. The rest was void, basically, and I had to pay for that. And the decision to pay for that at the beginning was, oh yeah, that's a 20-hour course. That for sure brings me something. I will be a trader. I was nothing. After 30 hours, I was bored to death. And then there are academies and mentors and I don't know, and we have a saying in Czech, again, traders with rain, or basically somebody who sells the rain. I don't know if this exists in English. I mean, the idea is that they sell you promises. They sell you things that doesn't work on purpose because they want to keep you. They sell you cars for thousands of euros, and they tell you that you will become a trader after 2 months, which is nonsense. You are not able to become a trader in 2 months. It takes time. You need to switch your head. You need to get used to things at the market. It's unlike anything else. After 2 months, you aren't successful, you aren't profitable, so they come to you and they offer you a one-to-one mentorship, another thousands of euros. And I really, when I read what the users wrote to me, I decided to go a different way. I decided to share my knowledge, share my tools, and help those who are interested to become profitable. It's a long way. It takes time, of course. Not everyone manages to get to the final stage of the journey, but it is doable. And I'm honestly, I honestly think that my indicators help. So that's why I actually started developing the indicators. That's why I use the same versions. That's why you are able to use the same versions, just like me. And that's why I have the Discord. Okay, so that was the introduction, basically. And let's get to the indicators. The most important thing is to check whether the indicators are available. You went to my website, pavelhorák.tech. You ordered the indicators. You received the confirmation email that the indicator was activated, but you don't see the indicator in ATAS. How is it possible? Well, ATAS came up with the slight adjustments of the mechanism of the activation of the indicators, and occasionally, not always, but occasionally, you need to activate the indicator manually. you go to the menu in the upper left corner of ATAS, and now I switch finally to the platform. You go to the upper left corner of the indicator, upper left corner of the workspace of the window, and you click at menu, and you go to settings, and you go to custom indicators, which is here, and you open it up. You get this window. You see all the indicators that were activated for you. You see the list of them. But let's say you ordered NODEtective. Wait a second. Rain. Classic. Oh, no! It's wrong. Just a second. Okay, like so. Just like so, and like so. Prepared very incorrectly. Okay, so this is the list of the active indicators. These are active. These are among installed modules. This is slightly misleading because the uninstalled indicators are among available modules, but this section is closed. You see it at this arrow. This arrow is open, showing down. This arrow is closed, showing up. You need to click this group and open the uninstalled indicators. These indicators are about to get installed. You can install them. So just like mentioned, you purchased NODEtective and the indicator is not installed. So I click at install and pay attention to NODEtective X Ultra. I click at that and it's here. NODEtective X Ultra is here. It's among the installed indicators. Now, there are various versions of my indicators. I will show you. I will use this as the desk actually. I have actually there are three types of the indicator. Three types of my indicators. There are three types of my indicators. There is universal, I call it uni, which is, for example, this one, 4+2 uni, or PowerBars uni. These indicators, there are two versions of ATAS. I call them classic and I call them X. X is obviously the name of the version, and the previous version I call it classic. Universal version, then there's obviously classic version, and then there's the X version. Universal version is the version that works in both platforms, which means in ATAS Classic as well as ATAS X. There's no need to install anything special. There's no need to distinguish between them. The classic version of the indicator, those were the previous versions, valid until June the 20th, approximately. They work with classic only. They actually can work with X, but there are actually exceptions, and you mostly get the information that you were not able to place the indicator at the chart. That's why X version of my indicator doesn't work under classic. Might work, but that's not the intention. You have to use the X version. Therefore, I highly encourage you before the beginning of the work with the indicators to go through the list of the indicators and pay attention to the particular versions. You need to check either if it is a universal version, these are universal at the beginning, or if it is the X version. It's here, X, that's okay, X, it's nothing, X, and then there's the classic version. Check this out, Rain Classic. I just explained that you aren't able, or you shouldn't use the classic versions under ATAS X. So what you have to do, you should remove the indicator, because it's not guaranteed that the indicator works properly. So it's better not to have the classic version of Rain when I have the X version of Rain. So I get rid of this classic version by clicking here at remove. And the indicator is not available anymore. It just disappeared. It's now among the available modules. Just like here, NODEtective Classic. I don't want to have the classic versions among the indicators under ATAS X, and likewise, I don't want to have the X versions of the indicators under ATAS Classic. So this is what you should do at the very beginning to ensure that everything has been set up properly. I will click at apply, and now I can start using the indicators. There are two types of indicators which I use. There is the subscription version, let's say. Okay, this is the approach. There's the subscription version and there's the lifetime version. I offer a fair play guarantee, which means I don't offer indicators for free. I don't offer demo. You are not able to test my indicators a week, 2 weeks. That is not possible. On purpose. I want you to feel that you should do something. How to say this? That you are obliged to do something. You order, for example, I don't know, NODEtective, but you have to pay for that. You have to pay normal subscription for NODEtective for 1 month of using. Nevertheless, two things. Nevertheless, at the end of the month, when you are unsatisfied, you have been using the indicator for 29 days and you realize you are not satisfied with that. It doesn't fit your style, it doesn't do what you expected, and so on and so on. So you decide to cancel the subscription, but I will give you the money back. The entire subscription, you get the subscription back. 100% of the subscription, fees included. You don't pay a single cent. I pay it. I pay the fees, I pay everything, you get your money back. We will be friends, why not? And you quit using it, no problem at all. I refund it to you, 100%. That is my fair play guarantee. I don't want to punish you. You expected something and my indicator didn't fit your expectations. So that's why you decided to quit the subscription and I refund you. Then you keep on using it. You will use it for, let's say, 3 months. You keep on paying the subscription for 3 months, and then you write to me, hey, I like the indicator, you know, but I don't want to keep on paying. So you can purchase the lifetime version and I will deduct the entire subscription from the price of from the lifetime price of the indicator. I will deduct those 3 months, 100% of the subscription fees. I will deduct from the price of the lifetime version. Again, fees included. I will cover it. Again, I don't want to punish you that you decided to test it and only then switch to the lifetime version. And when you switch to the lifetime version, you get the ultra version of the indicator. Oh, it's not that easy. It works this way, in the way of the arrow. Or the other way. Ultra version of the indicator means that the indicator features webhooks. Webhook is a system that communicates with the neighborhood, that communicates outside of ATAS with the rest of the world, so to say. ATAS, there are indicators running in ATAS. This is ATAS. there are indicators running in the ATAS, and if something happens, a line gets hit, or the candle closes, or anything else, then you usually get the notification in ATAS, that is the window in the bottom right or bottom left corner. You know, I don't know, let's say POC got hit at, I don't know, 23,741, and so on and so on. And then the notification disappears. There might be also the sound notification, and so on and so on. However, my indicators deliver a webhook. They send the information about the event outside ATAS, because I was planning to start automating my indicators and my strategies, and I need to get those information. This information, this webhook information, is more complex compared to the notification in ATAS. Because, for example, Semaphorec sends information about each candle closed. So when you place Semaphorec Ultra at Renko 18 chart, then you get notified upon closing each Renko 18 candle. Say, I don't know, 3 times a second. You get the information about the situation at the chart from the Semaphorec point of view. It sends you information about the current time, current date, date and time of the candle, because you can use it at the market replay, apparently. You can backtest it. Then you get the information about the instrument, about the time frame, about the number of the lights at the Semaphorec, let's say 6 lights. Then you get a compressed information about which conditions in particular were met. Then you get the information about open, high, low, close of the candle and where was the VPOC. All this you get upon closing each candle. Imagine the number of the information and imagine what you can do with that. That's why there are ultra versions of my indicators. Ultra version means the indicator sends data outside ATAS. Now, this is not necessarily valid, that ultra equals live and that it's a paid indicators. There are exceptions. It's not that easy. Semaphorec is the most important indicator. I invested a lot of time, effort, energy to the indicator, to the logic, and so on and so on. So I decided to deliver only ultra version of the indicator, no matter whether you are in the subscription module, in the subscription mode, or in the lifetime mode. There is no difference between those two versions, and there is just one version existing, Semaphorec Ultra. And you can either subscribe it or you will purchase the lifetime version. Another exception is VWAP Ultra. VWAP Ultra, as expected, delivers the data through webhook, but is free, because I basically used the VWAP indicator from ATAS and added some functionality. However, it didn't require that much effort, so I decided to offer it for free. There wasn't any reason to offer it as a paid indicator. So these two indicators are exception. Semaphorec exists only as Ultra. VWAP Ultra existed also just as Ultra, obviously. But above all that, it's a free indicator. It's among the free 5. So that's the logic. Now you understand. So now you understand why there is, for example, NODEtective Classic, Ultra, slave. Imagine there's another thing. NODEtective Classic Ultra Slave, which means this indicator is constructed and has been delivered for using under ATAS Classic. That's one thing. It's a ultra version, so this is the version with the webhook, and it's a slave version. What does it mean, the slave version? Because a lot of my indicators exist in a master-slave architecture. There's a master version of the indicator, and then there's a slave version of the indicator. What is it good for? And I will basically start explaining it at a real example, which will be, we will begin with Linescope. Linescope, the subscription version. There's the free version as well, among free 5, so I will explain the differences. By the way, the free version, Linescope Lite, exists also as master-slave. There's no difference. So I will click at connections. Okay, sorry. I will click at change instrument. I will select S&P, for example, and voila, we are at the S&P 500 chart. I will load my clean chart template. I will get rid of the profile. I will get rid of the depth of market indicator, and we have a free chart. We have a simple, clean, nice chart. That's what I like. And that's what I like to keep even when I use my indicators. I don't want to make it too complicated, too difficult. Now, indicators should be placed at particular time frames. Let me explain that. I will click at 30 minutes and I will explain this to you. When I go to indicators and click at and write Linescope, I see what's available. Linescope X Lite, Linescope X Lite Slave, Linescope X Ultra, and Linescope X Ultra Slave. I will select Linescope X Ultra and I will double click and place it at the chart. So where is the indicator? There's nothing. It's okay, because you should select now what you want to see. This is all the settings actually, but you can open the sections that are important for you. There is previous day, previous week, previous month, and these are the previous periods settings. I was emphasizing the plural because this is not just the previous day. This is the period represented by previous days. These are the previous periods. When I open it up and click at, let's say, enable, then I get all the levels created at the daily chart. I get the price action, which is high, low, open, and close. I will get the VWAP, the volume, and the market profile. And this is the reason why Semaphore X should be the master version of the indicator, should be always placed at the 30-minute chart, because there are market profile elements, let's say, such as BTST, which stands for buying tail and selling tail, and this is being calculated from the 30-minute candles. Not H4, not H1, not 15M, 30 minutes. That's why it's important to place the Linescope master at the 30-minute chart. Now you can obviously turn particular levels off, such as if I don't want to see highs, I will just disable this level. By default, everything is enabled. When I click at previous week, when I click at enable, I get the weekly levels, all weekly levels. High, low, open, close, VWAP, volume, TPO. Not buying tail and selling tail. This is related just to daily market profile. so that's the reason. And this is the difference between the light version and the full version. It's actually 2.0 version of the indicator, the subscription version and the ultra version. Because as I mentioned before, I created a linescope as an indicator in 2024, and I was using the indicator 1 year long. I was collecting my experience and the ideas how to improve it, and I came up with the idea that the weekly and monthly levels is something that is worth having in this indicator. Linescope is related to lines and zones, basically, because buying tail, selling tail is a zone. And that's the name. So I added some things to the indicator, but kept the core functionality. So you can use the light version, but the subscription and the ultra version offers something more. It's more advanced, I would say. And there are also current day levels, which means intraday levels. This day's level. Check this out. This is current development at S&P 500. And when I turn on the daily levels, like so, I will get daily high, Asia high, European session low, initial balances, equal lows, equal highs, which is good because this is a good magnet. Price tends to revisit those levels. Equal lows, equal highs, double tops, triple tops, and so on and so on. And then there's the buying and selling tail of this day. When you see selling tail, like here at the chart, it might tell you that the trend has ended, that the trend is over, and then there's the trend shift. There was this low, by the way, you see that? There was this swing low, which got broken here, and when you extend the line, then you see that the price revisited the area, created this selling tail, and changed the direction. This is the basic element of the method I started delivering videos for ATAS. I called it LIST, L-I-S-T, and L-S-T are the important letters. L stands for level. You need to have level. You need to have a reason why there's a reaction, why you are opening the position. Then you wait for S, which stands for structure, change of the structure. Say, yeah, we are at the 30-minute chart, and there was the reaction to this level. There can be reaction, I don't know, for selling tail from the previous days, or let's say previous day high, and so on, previous day point of control based on VWAP or market profile, value area high, and so on. But it's just a level. As you see, there are so many levels at the market. And attention, we still don't have previous months levels active. And we don't have the one of the most important things active, because currently there are 10 days of the chart at the there are 10 days of S&P 500 at the chart, but the idea is that the master version of the indicators calculates the entire development. What I mean, you should actually, I will hide the indicator, I will switch to daily, and you should basically you should decide how many days of the history you need. This is 200 days of S&P 500. The highs are apparently important because it was 7,640 something, We are currently 7,470. Not that far from all-time highs, are we? There's this low, which is very interesting. There are these lows, which are very, very interesting. There is this gap at the daily chart, and so on and so on and so on. Those broken levels, which could be flipped, and it's 7,000. I really don't know whether the price will go this low, but it's so far away. It's 470, almost 500 points away. It's 2,000 ticks. I don't remember what is the allowed progress at the exchange. I think it's 12 or 15%. If the exchange makes more, then the trading gets closed. I think it's 12 or 15%. So imagine that. It's very, it's impossible that the price go this low. Therefore, you don't need to use 200 days of the history to calculate the levels. That is the idea. You will use the you will use your mouse and the central, I forgot, Jesus Christ, wheel. You use the wheel, you will click and hold the wheel, and you will move the mouse like so. Like so. Hello. Like so. Okay. And it shows you the length. It shows you the number of the candles. You see that? Bars 62. It's in the blue window. When I release it, then I don't see the window anymore. I can use it again here. Now it's red because I started at the top of the chart and I moved the mouse downwards. And there are 30 bars. See that? Let me measure it again. There are 64 days. So 70 or 80 days is enough. I don't need more. It doesn't make sense having ATAS calculated the levels from these candles, from this past, because the price is so far away from those levels. So let's save the performance of the platform. Let's switch back to 30-minute chart. Let's open the time frames. Let's click at set dates and let's enter manually, let's say 80 days of 30-minute chart. This is it. And now pay attention. This is the history. It's still too long. I think we could have started calculating the levels here. But let's keep 80. And I will make Linescope visible. That's it. It is this fast. It doesn't need minutes or seconds to calculate the levels. It is this fast. So I can go to settings again. I will go to indicators. I will click at Linescope again, and I will activate even the monthly levels. And now we have the monthly levels. Now you have all possible levels. So I announced and I promised that I tell you not only what is the functionality of each indicator, but what is actually the reason. Why did I come up with the indicator? Why did I actually created it? The reason is that I was going to be consistent with the levels. Levels is, in my opinion, the most important thing, because things happen at a particular level. There should be a reason. There was this daily high. I'm talking about this level. There was this daily high. See that? Then they swept the liquidity here, and then they started moving downwards. See that? This is a very, very typical pattern, actually. We have these highs, and again, liquidity sweep downwards. Here, liquidity sweep downwards. So liquidity sweep is a very, very efficient pattern. Buying, selling tail as well. I like buying and selling tail. This is the buying tail, and check this out. They created this high, then revisited the area of buying tail and started moving upwards and swept the liquidity of this high. So it's wonderful. So I was going to be consistent. I wasn't going to spend any time by adding the new levels to the chart, by checking whether the previous levels have been invalidated or therefore to be removed or so. So this was the reason to create indicator. ATAS is able to deliver almost everything. Many things from Linescope is ATAS able to deliver by its own. However, this is in one indicator. This delivers notifications and webhooks from one indicator. It has a centralized system, centralized lines, descriptions. If you see, for example, here, you see PHD plus VPOCD flip. What does it mean? When there's a level, when there are two levels at the same, when there are two lines at the same level, they get aggregated because they won't get overlapped. There are overlapping levels, of course there are, because if there's a difference, if there's a price difference between those levels, it's impossible to aggregate them. It's obvious. But look at that. There is PHD plus VWAHD, which means previous high daily plus value area high by volume profile daily. All these descriptions make sense. If you don't like it, if you don't know what POD mean, well, then you go to the settings, you go to the indicators. I'm in the drawing mode. You go to the indicators and you simply change you change the text. Pay attention to POD. Pay attention to POD. I will open previous day and I will simply click here at POD and I will rename it. Open daily. Hello. I'm again in the drawing mode. Open. Oh, what's wrong with that? Mark level. Open daily. I will click at apply. Oh, look at that. Open daily. You can rename it. You can use your abbreviations, not necessarily mine. You don't need to have all the levels at the chart. You can use the levels you trust, the levels you backtested, and the levels that work for you. And you can rename them. You can change the color of the lines. You can change the width, and so on and so on. At that time, ATAS wasn't able to deliver single pixel lines. You know, some indicators deliver 2 pixel lines, and if you have a lot of them at the chart, they become less transparent. They overlap each other. They are too heavy, in my opinion, but this is a personal preference. I was going to keep the chart clean. Basically as clean as possible. And that's why I came with that. That's why I came with the aggregation. See that? Previous high daily plus high of the USH, America high, and so on and so on. So I aggregate even the names. I get the flipped levels. As far as I know, there isn't any other indicator except Linescope that delivers flipped levels. What is a flip level? Imagine this. You have not nice. I will make it nice. You have a resistance. This is a resistance, and then there's the price development. Price is below the level, therefore resistance starts approaching the level and smashes through the level. It doesn't react to the level, doesn't accept it, actually smashes through it as if there were no level at all. These are the best levels. levels which price smashed through, because price tends to revisit those levels from the other side. This is the well-known saying, resistance turns to support and support turns to resistance. So you get this information like this. See that? Europe H flip. It's not well visible. I need to go to indicators and change the color for the invalidated level, because this level got invalidated already. So it's here, broken level, and I change it to something like this. Now we have the invalidated levels white. Okay, I can change the size of the text, line settings, font. I will change it to, let's say, 10. Now it's better, isn't it? And I will move it like so. Now you see that Europe H flip. What does it mean? Well, there was this high of Europe. This is Europe high, this level. This one. The price smashes through. And at this moment, this level turned to the flipped level. You see the levels that got flipped. You see them, you see the description, you see the information, and the levels are violet color. So they are immediately recognizable. And these are usually the best levels. Usually the price reacts there. You can wait here, and you can trade this movement up. There was some hesitation. It's not 100% trade, of course. As mentioned, trading is a statistic. But these levels are better. Then I have the invalidated levels. Usually when the price, look at that. Look at this nice, wonderful aggregation of the levels. WVALD, which stands for value area low by VWAP. W means VWAP, plus VVAHD, which stands for value area high from volume profile, plus VVALD, value area low by volume profile. Invalidated levels. Imagine there was let's say VPOC, which means volume profile point of control daily, and let's say the level was penetrated during Asia. Then there was a development during Europe, and then America got back to the level and reacted to the level. And you sit in front of the chart and you think, why the hell did they reacted to this particular price level? Well, because there was the point of control daily. It was already tested at the during the overnight session, but America decided to react to that level as well. So you see the invalidated levels as well. You see VAH volume profile VAH daily. You see it all day long. If there was a strong reaction at that level and price started moving downwards, then you see that it was because of the value area high by volume profile daily. Already tested in the past, but the market participants decided to retest the area. So flipped levels, I think that Linescope is the only indicator drawing the flipped levels, and I keep the invalidated levels at the chart, open daily, and so on and so on. So that is the Linescope master, and now the slave, because this is interesting and important. We have all these levels. I turned the color from the gray to white, and all of a sudden you see that the readability of the chart became much weaker. It's less transparent. I will change that. So I go back to the indicators, I go back to Linescope, and I change this color. I will just make it more transparent, like so, for example. Now it's good again, isn't it? I will keep the letters. I will keep that at the 10 points. I can switch between left and right because users like to see the descriptions on the right. To be honest with you, I like it on the left. I like to see when the indicator was created, because it's actually not important where the indicator, where the line, what is the line, what the line is. It's not important. I will tell you why. Well, yes, I will finish the description. There's also the initial balance. Initial balance is a great phenomenon. I have a video at my YouTube about initial balance because it's very logical. When the price, initial balance are first two candles. It's the high-low of the first two candles during the session, like this, let's say. Yes, see that? And the third candle can do whatever it do. It can have a long wick, but the initial balance is defined by the first two candles. And there was the sweep, okay. But if we are still in the initial balance, then there's obviously no development, is it? See that? So it's a totally different type of the day. Now compare it to this. This is the first situation, and imagine, this is nonsense. Imagine that the third candle smashes through the initial balance high, then there's a very usual pullback to the smashed level, like so, and the price continues. So where we are in compared to the value to the initial balance says us what is the current situation at the market, what the date type this is very probably. That's why I decided to improve this. And we also have the sessions. We have the sessions in Asia, VAH, POC, VAL, Europe, America. We also have the sessions by open, high, low, close. We also have the sessions by VWAP and market profile. So this is yet another difference to Linescope Lite. Linescope Lite doesn't have these sessions. And I'm going to add the special session overnight, which is here already. It's already here. It's Asia plus Europe, but you will have the opportunity to have the overnight. One click and you will have the overnight session. What is this good for? Imagine USIB, which is, see that? And all of a sudden I see the America initial balance. It's this. I have it at the chart here. See that? IBH US, initial balance high US, and IBL US. Initial balance low US. And when I click at the I key, I get the multiples. It's very interesting that the price tends to react to, let's say, 200 or 100. Then you see this, you can move the chart like so that you can measure the development. That was the aim, not to get disturbed by these levels. These are yet another levels. So I wasn't going to make the chart totally overlapped with lines, and you can move it like so, and you see the multiples. And this is the logic behind initial balance, because the price tends to react to, let's say, 200% of initial balance. Then the width of the initial balance tells you whether you can expect the development of the price or you can expect the rotation. It's a very interesting thing, initial balance. Okay, so I clicked at I and I hit the initial balance. And now, finally, at long last, I click at plus, I click at chart, I click at choose instrument, and attention, I can actually add micro ES to the right. On the left, there's ES, and on the right, there's MES. So there's mini SNP on the left, and there's micro SNP on the right. Okay, I'll get rid of this. And now, I will add Linescope slave. Linescope Ultra slave, double click, okay. We don't see anything, that's okay. I need to activate the broadcasting. I go to the indicators, I click at Linescope, I go down, I find the settings section master key, and I write something that will represent the broadcasting, like LNS, and let's say ES, and let's say that's it. LNSES, I will copy it to the clipboard and I click at is global and it started sending. We still don't see anything here, that's okay. I will change here the time frame to, let's say, Renko 6, which is incredibly fast time frame. See that, how fast it is? I will decrease the set dates to 1, and now I have 1 day of Renko 6. I go back to the indicators, I click at the slave version of the indicators, I will overwrite this by pasting LNSES, and I will click at read mode. And all of a sudden you started seeing levels broadcasted from the master version of Linescope from the left chart to the right. You can also click at here, you can click at extend lines, like so, and you can change the description. You can change the width of the description, like so. I set it to the 12, and that's it basically. You are not able to change anything on the right side, nothing else. It's just the receiver. And this is a great example of my logic. I tend to keep the indicators as simple as possible. What if you wanted to have the description, the text for the day levels, let's say in the size of 10, the weekly levels the size of 14, and the monthly the size of 18, like so, 1/8, and even bold. Is it possible? Oh yes it is. Oh yes it is. All you need to do is to place 3 Linescope master indicators on the left chart. Set 3 different keys to broadcast and place 3 Linescope slave indicators on the right. You will connect it and it will change the settings individually. So you can do much more things than you see at the first sight, so to say. But these are special things, you know. There are a few users that will appreciate that. The majority of the users, me included, don't need that. I knew that I will be able to do it if I needed to. That is the purpose. And I click at apply. And now the entire idea is that there are these levels, such as this one at 7,650. I don't know what the level is, do I? I don't need it. I don't need it. This is just the broadcaster. It's just the chart for calculating the levels. When I have the execution chart, in this case, Renko 6, and besides micro ES, it receives the information from the master version of the indicator. And when I scroll to 7,650, look at that. Look at all the levels from the master indicators. What do we have here? We have the PHD, previous high daily, plus PHW, which stands for previous highs weekly, plus PHM, previous high monthly, obviously, because it happened in the previous month. So it must have been monthly, weekly, as well as daily level. During that day, There was this high that became the high of the day, high of the week, high of the month. And I have the aggregated line here. I can change the color, for example, for the monthly levels, make them brighter so that I know, or make the line different. Then I have the line brighter, wider, with a larger text and so on, but still aggregated. There's something at the behind, isn't it? Well, that's TPOST, selling tail by market profile. It is not possible to aggregate these levels because selling tail is an area and previous high, daily, weekly, monthly is a line. That's why are these overlapped. But that's all. And that's why I actually said that I don't mind having the descriptions on the left at the master chart, because at the execution chart, I double click it, I see it on the right. I can even go to the settings again if I want to, and I can actually extend the levels. And now I have the clean charts. I can place whatever indicator I want, and I still have the clean chart. Only if I want to, I will extend the lines, because I can have another chart with NODEtective. I will show you in a moment, that delivers the NODEtective lines. And then I have the Linescope lines, NODEtective lines overlapping each other, and I need to keep the chart clean. That's why I decide whether to extend the levels or not to extend them. So that is the idea. That is the entire idea. That is the logic behind master and slave, and so on and so on. That was Linescope. That is the Linescope. And let's move to another indicators. Now let's continue with NODEtective. So Linescope is lines. Anything related to lines, by volume profile, by market profile, by price action, by initial balance, intraday levels, and so on and so on. Now, what is NODEtective? Well, there's a phenomenon. There's a phenomenon called high volume nodes and low volume nodes. These are areas where the price created extremes from the volume point of view. So NODEtective is related to volume. And I said at the beginning that the indicators don't overlap. Now I don't mean apparently the lines at the chart. I mean the logic. Linescope is related to lines. NODEtective is related to nodes. Therefore, NODEtective. I was creative again. I was created again. So NODEtective is about the nodes. There are high volume nodes and there are low volume nodes. Detective. NODEtective. The idea is when I click at chart again, I will make it smaller like so, choose an instrument. It is advisable, obviously, use the main instrument for calculating the nodes. By main instrument, I mean obviously ES, NQ, CL, not MES, not MNQ, not MCL. So I click at ES, and I've got the S&P 500 chart. I will change the template, actually I can keep here this volume profile. I will just get rid of the indicator on the right. Now, I will change the chart to M4. let's say H4, sorry, H4, and the profile here on the left is the daily. When I click at it and go to settings, I can change it from current day to current month, because we've got the July the 24th, so we have had a nice development already. We've got the 24 days of the history at the chart, and I will show you. I will get rid of these lines. I don't need the separators representing the beginning of the session, aka the day, like so. I will make them totally transparent. Okay, and now I hide the candles. And now you think, what are you going to do without candles? Well, I'm going to identify the peaks and the lows, the highs of the profile and the lows of the profile. That's it. Because NODEtective identifies the highs and the lows of the volume profile. It is literally searching for the peaks and the valleys. We have a peak here, so I will draw a horizontal line here, like so. I will go to settings, I will change the line to something which I use, like so. I will increase the width, I will make it slightly transparenter, and important, I will make it global. This way I see it here as well. I will hide the price level. I'm not interested at which particular level the line is. I just need to see the line. This is the highest peak of the volume profile, obviously, because this is the point of control. When I copy paste the line, I can mark another peak. I copy paste the line, I will mark another peak. I will copy paste the line, I will mark another peak. You see that this is actually, I'm going over and over and over again, always the same thing, like so. I will use it as this one. It's a bit time consuming, it's a bit boring. So you already feel what my intention was. Save the time and be consistent. Because you need to manage the levels. Because these are the peaks. I have to identify the lows as well. I go to settings, I will change the color to something what I use. It's okay, like so. And now I mark the peaks. I will mark the lows. Usually, among two peaks, there's one low, like so. So I search for the lowest lows at the profile. Sometimes I need to think a bit more. Sometimes it's easier. I was going to say like so, for example. See that? It's quite okay, isn't it? Now I don't need the profile anymore, and I can turn on the candles. I will make the candles visible again, like so. So these are the high volume nodes and low volume nodes from the previous month. Okay, now what if we have the August the 2nd? Current month is 2 days only. We need to engage previous month. When I select the previous month, I lose the current month at the profile, if you know what I mean. This is easy. I said that we need actually 80 days of S&P. Now look at that. We've done just this part. We need to do at least this part as well. This part as well. I told you the trick with the wheel and the mouse. These are These are 60 days, 2 months. How am I supposed to set 2 days? 2 weeks at the profile. There's no option. Besides, this is easy. This is very easy because this is S&P 500, which keeps on moving higher and higher. There's no history behind. Imagine you trade you trade actually crude oil, which looks like this. 80 days. If I load 150 days, then it looks like this. You see that we need this area all of the sudden because the price revisited the 70-ish prices. I also, maybe I need 300 days. 300. No. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Look at this. Look at this rotation. They broke through the area and then they closed this gap at this moment. This was the lowest possible low volume node that exists. Void. Literally void. So these are 300 days already. What if I go to, what is easy? 6E, euro. What if I go to euro? See that? What if I set 500 days? 500 days. There was this development. We aren't far away from that, are we? So we have already 500 days of the history. How am I supposed to draw the profile? How am I supposed to manage the lines? 500 days. I don't want to do that. Then use the NODEtective. When I go to indicators and I search for NODEtective and I will place it at the chart, it creates high and low volume nodes for you immediately from the entire chart. If I reduce the numbers, if I reduce the number of the days at the chart in time frames to, let's say, 100, then I get the history of 100 candles only from 100 days. But there are certain instruments, I don't know, well, gold actually, because gold started moving to the opposite side. Am I right? GC looks like this. And you see the speed? How long time did it take? 1 second. And what's the length of the chart? 500 days. No problem for NODEtective. But you find very probably the flaw of the indicator. Hey, buddy, you've got a line at each level. That's okay. That's the sensitivity. Because there is the profile on the left. I will go to settings. I will go to indicators. I will change the color of the profile color. I will change it to something different. I will change it to maybe white. You see it at the background? Yeah, you see it. And when I increase the width, I don't know, I think that 400, what is the maximum width of my indicator? 300, 400, 400, okay. Yeah, so you see the chart and the levels that are being calculated from this profile. Now, all you need to do with NODEtective, you just need to reduce or basically adjust the sensitivity of the lines. You go to indicator settings and there is not a straight way how to set it up. It's here. Sensitivity is set to 10 by default. When I increase it to 300, look at that. Look at the number of the levels at the chart. All of a sudden, increasing from 10 to 300 decreased the number of the levels. And when I zoom in, I will zoom in and look at that. You see that? You see those peaks and those valleys? What I tell you? What did I tell you? that there's usually one low between two highs, and these are the highs. I will get back to, let's say, crude oil. That's it. Did you see the speed? I'm always amazed by this. Really sorry for that. So, there's the high, and so on and so on. Regarding the number of the levels at the chart, it should be so-so. It should be not too much, but enough. It's funny. So I go back to the indicators and I decrease in this case to, I don't know, 150. This looks good, actually. This is a nice amount of the levels. There are zones as well, because, for example, in this area of the volume profile, you see that these are the highest peaks. So there was a high concentration of the high volume nodes. So you see the zones, not just levels, but zones. But you can turn the zones off, and you have the lines only. I will decrease it again to maybe 120, keep 129. It doesn't make much sense, but I will keep that. Why not? 129, okay. This way I will show you that there is not a correct and an incorrect value. You know, you should set it so that it makes sense to you. And what does it mean? I don't need linescope. No, I don't need you. I don't need Linescope Lite, and I will move this chart to the right. I tend to use it the way that the master is on the left and then the slave is on the right. Now the same thing. I was showing you 500 days of the history. I can do the same thing again. We still have 500 days on the left. So did you see the speed of the indicator? So the indicator calculates the lines based on the 500 days. 500 days. Almost 1.5 years. But I don't need it, a daily chart. I'm not going to zoom in and check whether the line got touched or not. I'm going to use it at a 5-minute chart. That's my execution chart for, let's say, crude oil. Wait, this is crude oil and this is S&P. That doesn't work. This is crude oil. And I want to have it here, the line. So the same thing. I go to the indicators. I search for NODEtective. And I place the slave version of the indicator at the chart. And the same procedure. I go to indicators, I go to the settings, I find the master key, new, like NODEtective, new 500, because 500 days. All copy, share as master, aka broadcast. I click at apply. Now I go to indicators, to the slave version. I will replace the key and I will click at the read mode. And now I see both zones and the levels. With zones, I mean the feather of the lines, because the lines are not, the high volume and low volume nodes are not strict. It's not a perfect line. It's not, I don't know, 7,436.75 at S&P. It's an area. Both high volume and low volume nodes. It's an area. And you need to bear it in mind, but you can turn off the zones. You can keep the lines only, and then you get this. How does it look like? I didn't spend much time by adjusting the level. Did I? Have I? And you see that we have actually quite good reactions. This cyan color is the low volume node. Look at the reaction here. Today at 15:25. This is not a textbook example, as I tend to say almost each video. This is reality. This is today. Look at this reaction. This is tick perfect. I will zoom in. This is tick perfect reaction to the line, despite saying that these high volume nodes and low volume nodes are not lines. We have a tick perfect reaction to the line. Here we had a rotation, but you don't, what did I say? I say that you trade list. You need to have the line, in this case, high volume node or low volume node, then it is nothing. It just glues the letters together. Then you need to see the shift in the structure, and then you have a trigger. So what happened? The price visited this low volume node, overshot it, okay, then created this low, then revisited the area. See that? They revisited it. This candle is outside the range. So this was actually already saying something. Nevertheless, we have this low, and as soon as the price broke through this level, which means this candle, you wait for the pullback, which is here. We already have the line, that's the line. We already have the structure development, that's here, and now we wait for the trigger. And what is the easiest trigger? Easiest possible trigger, the candle where I enter. The first candle in my direction, which is this one, this red one. I would open at the close of the candle, I would place the stop loss above the candle, and I aim 2 to 1, somewhere here at the edge. It was okay, because they revisited the area line, they shifted the market structure, they broke the low, because previously they were not breaking the lows. But this swing low, they broke the swing low, they returned to the area, and I wait for the trigger candle. And this is the easiest possible trigger. First candle in the desired direction. So I open here, I will place stop loss here. As said, 1, 2. 2 is, I don't know, a few points there, but you see the development. There's no doubt about the success of the trade. You have another visit of the area here, and now pay attention. I have the 500 days of the lines at the chart now with this sensitivity. It could have been lower. I think I set it up to 129. It could have been maybe, I don't know, 90 or something that, so that we have more lines. Nevertheless, I will extend the length of the days to, let's say, 10. And now let's check how successful were we. Come on, look at that. Look at this. Look at this reaction. And you wait to the break of the structure and you open the position. What else do we have? Come on. Here, wonderful. This is perfect, literally. Here, actually. Here is a tick perfect. Look at that. And I didn't prepare it in advance, so that I remembered that I should have set sensitivity to 129. You know what? I will change it to 160. No, I said it would be better to have them more. So let me decrease it. I said 90, so I'll change it to something, I don't know, 84. Nonsense number, 84. Now I have more lines. It's not bad actually. It's they broke through the level, revisited. Oh, look at that. Tick perfect again here. It's possible to trade it from one line to another. What else we have? Look at that. Look at that here. Look at that here. Here. It's not bad. It's not bad here. It's not bad here. So, and this is instrument I don't trade. I don't trade crude oil. I trade indices only. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. this one, this one, this one, this one. It's not bad here. Slightly overshot here. I don't trade crude oil. I don't know what did I say for the sensitivity. 85? Did I set 85 or something like that? Look at that. They smashed. This is flip. This is typical flip. They smashed through this high volume node. They returned to it from the other side. So this was your entry opportunity. The first candle in the desired direction is this one. Stop loss 2 to 1 here. Closed. Done. Here. Here. Look at that. Look at that. Smashed through. Return to the level. Continuation. It's this easy. And so on and so on. So that is the idea of NODEtective. It automatically, consistently cares about the high volume and low volume nodes and mirrors them to the slave chart. 2 hours. So you can actually combine it. Obviously you can combine it because you have 2 kinds of levels all of a sudden at the chart. You can look at that. I will do it. I will create another chart. I will choose the instrument. I will load my template, the clean template. I will get rid of the profile, this one. I will load, let's say, 200 days of 30-minute candles. 99, okay, here we go. And I will, because we basically don't need this chart, I will place it here, like so. I will place Linescope at the chart. Linescope Ultra. I will set it later. I will place the Linescope Ultra Slave at the chart, like so. I will go to the settings of the master chart. I will load the daily, the weekly, the monthly levels. I will set the synchronization key, such as SYNC, LNS, synchronization linoscope, copy, broadcast, linoscope, paste, lines, extend the lines. And this is the situation when the lines overlap, in my opinion, too much. So there are 2 approaches. Either I will make the linoscope lines slightly different, which means the high volume node will be 4 ticks, 6 ticks wide, and slightly transparenter, and the low volume nodes will be 6 ticks wide and slightly transparenter, like this. And now I can engage the linoscope lines like this. It's not bad, is it? And now I'm looking for the, obviously, the younger, the better. And now I search for the confluences. Because when I have a confluence, it's actually the end of the day, so a lot of lines have been already penetrated, already tested. But look at that. I have, what did I have here? We don't see the yesterday. It's a pity. But this way, that is the case. You can actually engage both indicators, like so. You can make the linoscope invisible, and you can actually compare the, I think there's a possibility to set the length of the lines. There was it. I got rid of that. Okay, I will edit so that you can make the lines longer. And this way you will search for the confluence. You see the lines by NODEtective, and then you see the lines by... you see that? No. I revisited, it was here. Anyway, this is the way you work. You just engage more indicators and you will search the lines that collide with each other from the NODEtective point of view and from the Linescope point of view. So that is the entire idea. And now we are done with the subscription indicators with Linescope and NODEtective, and we can focus on free indicators. Because I decided to offer a few indicators totally for free. I was using some of them, such as the first one, which I will show you. I will switch to S&P again. We have some lines here. Those are the lines that I draw manually. So I go to the drawing objects list, and I will delete all. Okay. Okay, so the first free indicator is Linescope. Linescope Lite. Linescope Lite is the very same indicator, very similar indicator, like the Linescope 2.0, I will say carefully. Set dates, like so. But it's the previous version. So we don't have the weekly levels, we don't have the monthly levels, we have just the previous days levels. See? It looks very similar. You just don't have the weekly levels. Then you have the intraday levels, these days levels, and that's it. You have only the daily initial balance. You don't have the Asia initial balance, Europe initial balance. You don't have the session high low. You don't have the POC of Asia, POC or VAH of Europe, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So you can live with Linescope Lite. I highly recommend you using it because it's a really useful indicator, and it also has the master-slave functionality. You can place it at the 30-minute chart and mirror it to your whatever your execution time frame is. So that's it, like so, and this is just the daily, but you can use it also the same way. You just see when the price was basically rotating and didn't have any direction. Actually, you can backtest it, and you see. Look at that, by the way. This is 100%. This is the height of the initial balance to the other side. I will draw the vertical line here. And look at the reaction. It's unbelievable, is it? Look at the America. 16 o'clock. Look at the reaction. If you searched for the reason why they make this turn here, I don't know. But look at that. When I move the line exactly, it's not easy to place it tick perfect at the chart sometimes. No, it's exactly, because it's 7431.50. I'm somehow unable to place it exactly. Nevertheless, did you see the reaction? It is impossible. I will do the other way. Look at that. I will do it this way. I will do it this way. I will do it this way. Look at that. It's a free indicator. It's my Linescope Lite. And you see the reaction, don't you? This is the reaction of America. LIST, level, structure, trigger. So you're at 30-minute chart. I will draw the line again. I don't need to, because I can use the indicator, but I will draw the line again. I will draw it here. It's one tick above, doesn't matter, does it? And look at that. Well, you know what? I will show you the possibilities of using the indicator engaging the other three indicators. It's a good idea, isn't it? I need to, so this will be our 30-minute chart, and I need another chart. It will be 5-minute chart. It will be S&P. I will get rid of the profile again. Load the clean chart. Load the Linescope Lite slave. That's it. I will set the key for the synchronization, which is, for example, I don't know, KLN, key Linescope, broadcast, apply, indicators, paste and read mode. And here we go, extend the lines. And this will be 5-minute chart. Great, you see that, you see the line here. I need to make the line more visible. I will make it white and I will make it global. This is the line. See the reaction. See the reaction. They reacted to the level absolutely perfect. So the idea is that we have the line and we see the reaction. And now we need the shift in the structure because it's a cascade, it's a pyramid. We have the level and we measure the strength of the reaction by two things. By structure and by trigger. And I will use as trigger my 4+2 indicator. We can make the chart actually cleaner because a friend of mine is curious about the development of the S&P today. You see him, he's curious as well. So I will go to Linescope and I will turn off the previous day levels and I will turn off the intraday levels. All I keep is the initial balance because I will be demonstrating the situation here at this levels, like so. Now we have the projection of the levels from the left to the right, and I'm talking about this candle because this is the candle. See that? When I draw a vertical line here and make it global, you see that that's the development here. So we are talking about this candle. And now we need to enter the trade. Now we need to enter the trade. What can I use? What can I use? What are my possibilities? Let's begin with the PowerBars. I was thinking. Let's begin with the PowerBars. PowerBars is an indicator that identifies the candles with the extraordinary volume. The idea is simple. You calculate the volume of previous 20 candles. You can change that to 10, for example, or 15 or whatever. And then you wait for the candle that has at least 2.5 times more volume, 2.5 times more volume than the average of the previous 20 candles. So, the indicator calculates the volume at each candle, and if the candle has higher volume than the 2.5 multiplication of the average of 20 candles, then it gets this color or this color. It's advisable to change the settings of the chart and make the candles dimmer so that we see immediately the difference. I will go to more colors. I will make the green more gray and I will make the red less bright, like so. See? And now there are immediately recognizable candles, such as this one. See that? This red and this green. This is an immediate pattern. When you see green candle after a red candle at a level, you can try. It's a very, very risky trade, but it very often pays off. You can try. Now regarding the entire idea with the list. So we have a reaction here, which is the level L, and besides we have the PowerBars. So it's a yet another confirmation that there was the reaction, because the PowerBars emphasize these candles representing the fight. These are the warriors that fought together with each other. A lot of dead fighters at the battlefield. Then there was the price development. Then they broke through these levels. See that? And you wait for the first candle in your direction, which is this one. You need the positive candle. It's this one. So you open the trade here. You place the stop loss here. This is your stop loss. This is your break even, aka opening the position, and you target 2 to 1. 1, 2. You close here. That's it. Nothing else. It's that simple. You wait for the break of the structure, these two wicks, or if you are more careful and in doubts, then there were these highs. They got broken here, and the price returned to that level here. Am I right? And this is your entry candle. Okay, this is... Now you need to actually be careful, because if you see the longest 5-minute candle at the chart, then it's obviously not advisable opening here, placing stop loss here, and expecting the price going to the universe. Therefore I use Renko candles, because Renko candles have the same size, no matter the momentum of the movement. The disadvantage is that here you know when the candle closes, it closes in 5 minutes. But with Renko candles, you don't know when the candle closes. It can close next second, next minute, you can wait 10 minutes as well, anything's possible. But the candles have the same size. So when I see the pullback to these levels, I will enter somewhere here. I will place stop loss here and I target 2 to 1. That's the advantage of non-time based time frames. But that's it. Shall I switch to Renko? I don't know. This is S&P 5 minute. Let's switch to 1 day Renko 6. Okay, this is Renko 6. Where was the reaction? This is the reaction. So this is the reaction, and look at that. You see that these candles touched the level. There was the breakout of these levels. Then we wait for the pullback. This is the first entry candle, stop loss, and this is another entry, and this was okay. So we are -1 in this trade and +2 in this trade. And you can trade the continuation, you can average the prices, whatever. Interesting is, isn't it, that the entry candle is PowerBar candle as well. So this candle represents fight. That was the break. No break. That was the break. A brake pedal. Exactly. They stood at the brake pedal and they stopped the movement downwards and they started moving upwards. Here you see, actually, you can use the power bars both ways. When you see power bar at the end of the swing, it doesn't make any sense here, does it? But you see actually that it was a liquidity sweep. This volume candle is at the high of this, it's above the high of the previous swing. It doesn't mean that the most powerful market participants decided here to go long, that they waited, oh, we will open the long position only after breaking through these highs. It's nonsense. This represents, it's a good opportunity to show you another indicator called 4+2. What is 4+2? Now, what is 4+2? I need to load another template, this one, and this is the template that I was describing in the first marathon in German. I lost the slave version of the Linescope because I loaded another template, but I don't mind. We have still the level. We have still the level that we are interested in. It's here. Okay. Yeah. Really. We reacted to the level here. We started developing. We broke through these highs, and as I told you, this was the first entry, stop loss. This was the second entry, probably profit. It was profit. The methodology, the identification of the trigger candle, the first candle in your desired direction, was primitive, obviously. Very, very simple. This is much better method. What I showed in during the webinar. This engages, and this actually, this is something what I was talking at the beginning of this webinar about the dimensions and about the perspective. Footprints are another dimension. We see absolutely different things at the chart, and we do, obviously. Now we pay attention to some things. Look at that. There was this reaction. There was the reaction. Price actually revisited the area, the 100% of the daily initial balance, and started moving upwards and broke previous high. This means that this level has been validated from the market. That they are very probably going to react to that. So we need to find the entry candle. What is the entry candle? The entry candle is they broke through the level. And now we wait. And this is the first entry candle. And we start analyzing things. There are 4 necessary conditions and 2 bonus conditions. That's why the name of the indicator, 4+2. The first condition is absorptions. That is something I need to see. Absorptions. Now, what is absorptions? A footprint is a set of numbers, whereas there are bits on the left side and there are asks on the right side. And then there's another footprint. I have 2 footprints at the cluster chart. This is delta. Delta is asks minus bits, which means when I hope you see the numbers, when I have 0 at the bit side and +1 at the ask side, then delta is 1 minus 0 equals 0. At this line, I have 644. So delta is 44 minus 6, which is 38. And so on and so on and so on and so on. So, when I see a high number at the bottom of the candle, at the bottom levels of the candle, on the bid side, then I want to see a negative delta at the other footprint, at the second footprint. I want to see high bids on the left side and lower asks on the right side. If ask is small number and bids is a huge number, then the delta is negative, of course. Because if A is a small number like 10 and bids is a high number like 100, then delta is minus 90. I want to see high negative delta values at the bottom of the candle. Why? This is the theory behind the footprints. What does the left and the right side represent? The left side, the bids, represents market sells and limit buys. There are two types of orders. There are market orders and there are limit orders. Market orders are called aggressive orders. These are market participants that enter the trade immediately, without waiting. They want to join the trend. They don't want to wait. They don't hesitate. They open immediately. So they open the trade through market order. They click at market sell. And their activity is visible on the left side of the footprint. But there are passive market participants as well. And they use limit orders. When they want to enter the trade at an interesting level, they use limit buy. Limit buy. They wait patiently for the pullback to their levels, and as soon as the price revisits their levels, they get filled through market sellers. So the market sellers sell to limit buyers, and the activity of both parties is visible at the left side of the footprint. And the same side, obviously the opposite direction, is being represented at the right side of the footprint. You see limit sells. You see limit sells here. These are limit sells here. And market buy, because the retail traders, they mostly use the market orders. They were going to join the trend. These can be breakout traders, or this can be short position traders, and these are their stop losses, which got activated when the price broke through. But important is who represents the passive sides, which means limit buyers and limit sellers. If you see 223 contracts at the ask side, at the top of the price development, these are not smart money traders who buy here. Just like I said before, oh, we will wait, and maybe if we break these levels, if we break them, we open the long position here. Come on, nobody does this. Among banks, among funds, among institutions. They sell here. They wait, they either close their long positions and profit from this swing, or they actually open short here and they join the trend, or they are going to deceive the retail traders, and they pretend that the market is going to go down because they are going to collect their long positions. They are going to move upwards. They need to persuade the market that it's a good idea to sell because they are going to buy here. They are waiting with their buying limit orders here. They are going to the market to get to their levels, and they need the parties, they need the other side of the market participants who is willing to sell. When will you will to sell? When you see that we are in a downtrend. So they need to initiate something that looks like a downtrend and persuade you that you need to sell. And you sell, and they buy. And that is the entire idea behind absorptions. Because the market cells get absorbed through limit buys. So when you see high deltas at the top of the swing, usually in a week, at a negative candle, then it doesn't make any sense. Only absorptions of those long traders. Somebody was persuaded that we are going upwards and was buying. And they, the big fish, they decided to make another pullback and move the price a few ticks lower to fill their waiting limit orders here. So that is the reason why we see high positive deltas here and high negative deltas here. These, not this one, that's a positive. This negative value. So we have 4 plus 2. The first one is absorptions. These are the absorptions. I want to see high negative values at the bottom of the swing. The second condition is that I want the candle to close positive, which means above its 50% of the height. The candle closed here, the candle has low here, this is low, this is high. This is the 50% of the candle, and because the candle is Renko, then there are no doubts about the closing. It closes always at the high or at the top. Always at the high or at the low. So in this case, because the candle is green, it closes at its high. This is valid for Renko candles, that the positive candle is always green, but the positive candle can be red as well. I will show you quickly. I will refresh this. I've been talking about this many times. Imagine the candle with this wick. So the candle has low here and high here. So this is 50% of the height of the candle. This is the mean of the candle. This is 50%. And now imagine then this candle opened here and closed here. This is the open, this is the close. So the close is below the open, but above the mean. Market participants opened here, they pushed the price to this low, then the buyers stepped in, pushed the price to this high, and the sellers stepped again and pushed the price to this level. Who is stronger? Who is actually the winner of this candle? Is it the sellers who managed to push the price below the opening price, or is it buyers who actually managed to compensate this entire movement, push the price to new high, actually, compared to the opening, and lost at the closing, but managed to close above the 50% of the highs. It's a positive candle because it closes above its 50% of the height. Here is it obviously easy, because with, as mentioned before, with the Renko candles it's much easier. You see the green and it's always positive, but this is for the explanation. What does the 4+2 indicator do? It pays attention to the closing, not just if the candle is green or red. No. It pays attention where the candle closes. So the candle, CAN candle. The third thing is delta. I need to see which side was more successful. Was it the left side or was it the right side? I said that I'm interested in the passive side, the limit traders. Nevertheless, at the candle, at the trigger candle, I want to see that the buyers were more active. I don't want to see that the sellers were more active. That, okay, the candle closed. You see the disproportion, the lack of logic. The candle closed positive, but the sellers were more active. You don't want to open long position here, do you? So, how do I actually judge and realize that the buyers were more active? Through delta. Total delta at the candle. It's this small number. Small because I set the size of the indicator this way. I can change it. It's a candle statistic. And I will increase the size of the font to, let's say, 16. Okay. And this way I have the 66 positive. Because it's green. You see, negative is red, positive is green. So the candle is positive. 66 is total delta. I was asked at the German webinar, somebody said, this is very similar to Semaphoric. It's it's an exception. Semaphoric was created in April to June 2024, and it pays attention to 9 conditions. I will be talking about Semaphoric next week, and I will explain you the entire logic. And 4+2 was actually initiated by this template. I was going to simplify it because I saw the users that they actually understood the logic, but they were not able to put all the conditions together. They got stuck at the explanation. It's not difficult. It's, in my honest opinion, it's not difficult. Here is delta, here is POC. The fourth condition is POC, where the candle closes compared to its POC. This is POC, and the candle closed here. You see that all four conditions have been met. Semaphoric is more sophisticated. There can be an exception. Imagine that there won't be 23 at the bottom of the footprint. I'm talking about this value, 23. There will be 2023. Imagine that. What happens? What does it mean? The delta will be 1934. I guess. I added 2000, so I need to subtract 2000. I hope. It's Friday evening. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Nevertheless, negative number. Minus 1934. So the third condition would not have been met. And in these conditions, you mustn't open long position here based on 4+2 indicator. Semaphoric is different. It uses different approach. It uses entirely different logic. It's similar, but it's not the same. It's like riding a bike and flying a plane. You will get to Wien on bike, but you will get there on plane. More convenient and more sophisticated, apparently. Not that you are tired from the bike and, I don't know, you had a flat tire and other things. So there are certain differences. 4+2 is a simple indicator, so quite sophisticated, I would say, because I'm again putting my hand into fire for these 6 conditions. But semaphoric is different. So there is a difference between those 2 indicators. So just at the edge. There is a crucial difference. For example, 4+2 say no, and semaphoric says yes. Oh yes, because oh my gosh, there are 2023 contracts at the left side of the footprint. It's an absorption which I've never seen before. Minus 2023 delta. Amazing number. This means huge absorption. So you feel the difference. We either use a simple method that works. It works. But when I start explaining to users that basically very low negative delta is actually the strongest possible signal to open the long position here, then their heads will explode. Because I need to tell them that they should focus on positive delta and open the position only when there is a positive delta at the candle. So these are the 4 conditions. And then there are 2 bonus conditions. The first bonus conditions is finished business. Finished business, it's not a necessary condition, but it brings some small points. That's the 0 at the bottom of the candle in case of the positive candle, and it's a 0 at the top of the candle. Oh shit. It's the 0 at the top of the candle which closes negative. There is 0 too, but I'm not interested in this 0 because it's a positive candle. I would be interested in this 0, but there's no 0. There are 14. Unlike, same like here, there are no zeros at the top of this candle. So this candle would be, let's make it a quick check. This candle would be absorptions, high positive numbers, first condition met. Candle closes negative, second condition met. Delta 51. No entry. But that is the problem. There are high absorptions, there are high delta numbers at the top of the candle. But let's stick to the method. No. And POC, point of the candle is here, it closes here, the 4th condition is met. So not 3, not 4, but there are 3 conditions met. And the bonus conditions. The first bonus condition is the finished business. There is 532. There is no 0, so no. And the second bonus condition is imbalances, which means green numbers on the right side of the footprint in case of the positive candle, or red numbers at the bid side of the footprint in case of the negative candle. So this candle is 3+1, and this candle is 4+2. That is our candle. It's the best candle. And you see the difference? Not just the first candle in your desired direction, but we pay attention to so many conditions. And each condition gives us a slight advantage, a small edge over the others, because the basic trader waits for the first positive candle, and the advanced trader using my free 4+2 indicator gets the information about the footprints, about absorptions, candle positive or negative, delta, POC, point of control position, finished business, imbalances, it's undoubtedly an advantage for him. So I will, just a second, yeah, I will add the 4+2 indicator to the chart, which looks like this. And now we have the 4+2 here. I just need to font size, increase the size a little so that it's more visible, and distance, increase the distance. Okay, like so. Apply, and that's it. And that's it. Why this candle isn't 4+2? There's a threshold for the absorptions because we need to set it for particular time frame and instrument. If I set here, let's say 40, you see the number of the candles all of a sudden, which are all of a sudden 4+2. And when I alert, this is alert, play sound, you hear the sound, and minimum call score, when I set it to back to 100, and I decrease this, and I click at apply, then I start seeing 3+2 already, and 4+2 as well. So I can filter the number of the conditions met. Obviously, 4+2 is better. 4+2 is the best. And this is actually the, well, to be very honest with you, the weakness of the indicator. You see how many candles are 4+2? Just a few of them. Am I right? It's not bad for estimating where I am going to enter the position. It's a good confirmation. I need to play a little with the settings and so on, but the number of the candles isn't the highest one. And compared to the semaphoric, when I place, I'm curious. I place my semaphoric at the chart and I will load the settings for semaphoric ES Renko 6. ES Renko, I don't know whether I have the setting. I have 6, I have 8. I will try to load 8. Look at that. This is for Renko 8, but the soft settings, which is soft settings for Renko 8, is basically possible to use with Renko 6. And look at the difference. If you actually saw this price development when the price created higher highs and higher lows, you could have opened the position here, of course, why not, and trade the continuation. And trade the continuation here, for example, see that? But you don't have 4+2 here. Here you could have opened without any hesitation. You could open the position and you have the info window. Here you can open the trade, here you can open the trade and trade 2 to 1. 1 to 1, 2 to 1, exactly. Here 2 to 1, here 2 to 1. Why am I not marking, for example, this candle? I will explain next week. That's the logic behind semaphoric. But this is just to demonstrate the difference between semaphoric and 4+2. As said before, and I guess the example was correct, it's like going to Wien on bike or on plane. That's it. So I will get rid of the semaphoric, but because this is not about the semaphoric. The next free indicator is VWAP Ultra, obviously, because when I go to 5-minute chart, I will get rid of these indicators. Cluster search, statistic, adaptive big trades. That's it. When I add the VWAP Ultra indicator, the free VWAP Ultra indicator, I will get, it looks like a normal VWAP, doesn't it? Except it sends the information about the situation from the VWAP point of view upon closing of each candle. First positive thing, because this line is POC, point of control of VWAP. This is DVAH1, developing value area high 1. This is DVAH2, developing value area high 2. And this is DVAH3, developing value area high 3. Now this is DVAL1, apparently, I'm talking about this level. This is DVAL2, I didn't write here one, and this is DVAL3, yeah? And upon closing of each candle, I receive the information via webhook. What is the value of each of these 7 levels, plus what is the slope of VWAP? And this way I can easily realize what is the current situation at the market, where are we compared to POC or DVAL1, DVAH1. If we are below the level, I will not open long positions, obviously. So look at that. Based on this, there is a very good video at the ATAS YouTube channel focused on VWAP strategies. Imagine this. We had a reaction here to the initial balance. This is minus IB 100%. Okay. And look at the reactions to the DVAH1. Nevertheless, we broke through the DVAH1 and we pulled back to it. And this is the valid setup. When we break through DVAH1, then we wait for the pullback to the level and we open long position here and trade the continuation. That was the reaction to POC, very nice. This is another setup. When we break through the DVAH1 or DVAL1 from the opposite side, then you wait actually to the pullback to DVAH1 and you open the position here and you trade to POC. It's yet another setup. You see the number of the setups based on free indicators, actually. So this is value area. This is VWAP Ultra. I needed I needed this indicator, so I make it available also for the others. Why not? I will not be less profitable when I make 50 others profitable. I mean, this is the ocean and I'm plankton. I eat the tiniest pieces of the food. If there are another 50 members, another 50 plankton members eating the same food, there is enough for all of us. This is not really, this is something different. It's really, if I make 1,000 people profitable, I will be at the same profitability. No matter whether there are 1,000 people trading the same strategy like I do or not. It doesn't matter at all. So that is the reason. VWAP, and here we go. The last indicator, it's a Anchored VWAP, because when I was doing a video for ATAS and I was refreshing how the Anchored VWAP functions, what does Anchored VWAP do? Look at that. I will set the days to, let's say, 3 so that I can show you the logic behind. So the Anchored VWAP, it's among the drawing tools, and Anchored VWAP is here. And the idea is saying that I place the beginning of the Anchored VWAP at the significant swing high or significant swing low. Obviously, this is a very significant swing low, isn't it? Because the price created this low, and it was the lowest low of America. So I click here, and I get this line. This is Anchored VWAP. It's important where we are compared to the Anchored VWAP. You can trade the reactions to Anchored VWAP. You see that it reacts, that the price actually reacts to the Anchored VWAP. And when I move the line a little, like so, look at that. It calculates entirely different. I can basically copy paste it because it's the drawing object. So I can basically draw it like here. It's different, but it still works. So I was curious how it works, and if it saves me time, if I can get this line automated. So I go to indicators, place the Anchored VWAP, AnchoredPoint to the chart, and it draws two lines and a few arrows. The arrows indicate swing highs and swing lows. These are the points, these are the candles where the indicator calculated Anchored VWAP previously. It draws Anchored VWAP for the downtrend and for the uptrend. Uptrend, and we are below the line. Oh yes, of course, because this is telling us that currently the trend is weak. That currently the trend is downtrend. Not only are we below the red Anchored VWAP, and there was almost a perfect reaction to it, but we basically broke through the green line as well. It's a support Anchored VWAP line. Should remain untouched, but it didn't. When I load, the thing is that it draws the last lines only. It's not possible to see the previous lines. We see only the valid lines. When we create a new swing high significant or swing low, then we get a new anchored lines, Anchored VWAP lines. What I can do, I can go back to the history. I can click at period, and I will show what day is today? July the 24th. So when I click here, and I will 23 to 23 apply, I will get yesterday, and this was the yesterday, end of the day yesterday. There is no time. So you see that the identification of the swing highs, swing lows isn't bad. I can show you basically what was the Anchored VWAP at this point, because that is the same indicator like here. Anchored VWAP. See that? We get below the line. There was the reaction to the line. Only here we got above the level, and then there was some development later. But here, with AnchoredPoint, we got below the line. There was this reaction to the line and development downwards. Then this low was created. This was the support Anchored VWAP. We broke through, and now we can talk about the uptrend. So this way you can use the Anchored VWAP. It's really simple to confirm the uptrend, the downtrend. Trade it. You can trade obviously the reactions to the levels and get the confirmation about the trend, what the trend is, whether it is an uptrend or downtrend, and that's it. Oh, there was this question, and I don't know where does it belong to. I don't understand what is the difference between from top to bottom and from bottom to top. I think it's related to NODEtective, because it's in the NODEtective. That is the That is the algorithm. Because when I was creating a new version of NODEtective, I was comparing two algorithms. I'll show you. I was comparing two algorithms. NODEtective. Yes. Now let's change this to, I don't know, 100. Yeah, not bad. And I was actually comparing two algorithms which started calculating either at the bottom of the chart or at the top of the chart. And I wasn't able to decide what's better. So I kept both possibilities. When you play around with that, you get different values. See that? Not necessarily, not all the lines, but a few of them. So I kept that, and you can do one thing actually. You can do 120 apply, and you can what did I set up? Bottom to top, and you can do the same thing. 120 bottom. 120 top. See that? This way you have actually both algorithms active at the same time. See that? And you can use it. You can use both algorithms simultaneously. You just set the sensitivity accordingly. Normally you would set, for example, AT, and you play around with that and set it the way that it makes sense, having both algos at the chart. Same thing here. Zone width, standard deviation KZ, and mid zone size 10. Forget these settings. Don't change it. You don't need to change that. I don't change it at all. I just kept it there. But previously, in the first version of NODEtective, there was one value only, 120. But then I decided to have the zones at the chart as well, and it's difficult to tell the indicator which highs are more important highs compared to these highs. Why don't I have zones here? Why do I have zones here? Well, it's because these two parameters. But I set it up so that, of course, it's not that 1.0 is this. I set it up so that 1.0 represents something in the numbers range, and I set it to, and I have it represented through value 1.0, you know, you can change it to 1.5, but then you get different zones. You don't get different lines. Look at that. When I change it to 0.9, see that? Now I get more zones, but the lines remain. When I set it back to 3, there won't be any difference in the lines. There will be only difference in the zones. So you can set it how you want. If you want to have, see this low volume node, it's okay. These are lows, and this is a huge development, huge progress at the chart here as well. So you can play around with that and set the zones so that it makes sense to you, so that you know that this area is the area with a lot of low volume nodes at the volume profile. But if you don't use it, keep it at 1. I personally turn off the zones and I use the lines only. And you can place one indicator top to bottom, the second indicator bottom to top. Adjust the sensitivity at both indicators to the same value so that you get the same major lines. And here we go. There's no need to change the lines so that you know that LVN based on bottom to top are the yellow lines. Oh, there we go. I don't know. can test it. Maybe you find a surprising result that having it set up from bottom to top and setting this to 80 instead of 120 gives you better results. I don't know. I just use it this way. I don't use two indicators. I use one indicator, NODEtective, set it to something that makes sense to me, that I have a good number of the lines. I don't know, it should looks like this, for example. Now I'm satisfied with that. And I use either bottom to top or top to bottom. I want to have more lines, so this is something I'm happier with. 70 top to bottom. I have more lines here. These are calculated. It does make sense. Look at basically what you can do. You can check it at the chart, at the profile. I will set it back to 380 like this. You see that? Check the highs and lows. And when I change the direction, you see that we lost a few highs here and we got two high volume nodes closer to each other here. What's better? Obviously this high is higher than these highs, but now we have a void here. I lack levels here. I need to decrease the value to maybe 50, and I don't get this level back because it's low. There should be high volume node, low volume node, high volume node, low volume node, high volume node, low volume node. You know, you shouldn't have two high volume nodes, three high volume nodes and one low volume node. That doesn't make sense from the volume distribution point of view. You need to change it. So this way you need to find what's better. Now it's too close to each other. Now I would increase the number to, I don't know, 65 maybe. 65 is fine. 65 top to bottom S&P 500 is quite fine, in my opinion. So that's why. It's a remain. It's a remain from the development, and I wasn't able to say what's better. I spent half a day or maybe 2 days, I don't remember properly, with deciding what's better, and I wasn't able to say what's better. Because it depends on instrument, it depends on development at the chart, whether there's been a rotation at the chart or the strong trend development. There are so many parameters and factors that I wasn't able to decide, so I left it. You can place two indicators at the chart. There is not a particular value that works the best at ES and NASDAQ. I can show you. I will switch to NASDAQ and I will show you. This will be totally different because the values at the NASDAQ compared to S&P 500 are completely different. So you saw that something 70-ish works with S&P, but it doesn't work with NASDAQ at all. You need to set something that looks good. I know that this is really very weak, but you need to consider also the volatility of the instrument, because NASDAQ is much more volatile, so you need to have different distances between the lines, among the lines. I would even go higher here. 400, still too much. Still too much. I think if 500 is the highest possible. 450. Yeah, 500 is the highest value. If you have 500 at NASDAQ, I don't need the profile on the left. And I will add this is daily. I will add the 5 minute. I will add the micro NASDAQ on the right. I will get rid of the profile. I will load the indicator and get rid of depth of market. Now I will switch to my execution level, which is Renko 18. Now I add the NODEtective slave to the chart like this. Okay, I need to set the key, which is going to be maybe this. Copy, send. Okay, paste lines. Do we have any lines here? Yeah, we have. Not so many. That's right. Not so many. Not so many. I will switch to 5 minutes. This is impossible to use. And I will extend the length to, let's say, 10 days. Okay. So this is the setting for NASDAQ. How does it look like? Rotation, not bad. There is a nice reaction. There was a reaction, perfect. Then they rotated below. Not bad here, actually. They broke through from the other side, continuation. This was a nice reaction. This was a quite nice reaction. This was a nice reaction as well. Here, very, very nice reactions. Here is a very nice reaction. Very nice reaction indeed. Not bad. Very good reactions here. Very, very good reactions here. So you need to play with the settings. And look at that. Oh my holy gosh. That was amazing. When was that? On Wednesday. Here, very nice reaction. Almost perfect. Broke through, rotated at the level, broke through the level, came back to the level from the opposite side, continuation. Look at that. Look at that, these two reactions. Not bad, actually. So that's it. Just set it up so that it makes sense to you, to your time frames, to your instrument, to your trading style. Depends on how many trades you want to make a day. If 3 days during America's session is okay for you, then reduce. Instead of regular trading hours, set it to instead of electronic trading hours, set it to regular trading hours. Now you have RTH only, and set the sensitivity so that you get 1 reaction or 2 reactions in a day, and then trade it based on list, level, structure, trigger. It's fine. It's possible. That's it. Okay, guys. I knew I will be 3 hours long, and I'm 3 hours long. I've been talking for 3 hours. But I hope this was interesting for you, useful. I will create the timestamps during weekend, and you can jump from time to time, from one timestamp to another timestamp. So that's it. We will see each other next week. I wish you a pleasant evening, a very nice weekend, and I see you at my Discord. Have a very, very nice evening. Bye-bye.